We all knew that Megxit was going to happen. We all knew that. The fact that people are still claiming to be surprised and trying to kind of analyze, come to grips with, justify, and refusing to see that there was also and always Meghan Markle's plan along with Harry, it's actually an insult to anybody's intelligence. It really is. It is an insult to everybody's intelligence. So let's analyze the real story behind and the real motives behind Megxit and why we're still talking about it.
How on earth did I get here? How am I here?
What a shock, according to the press, when Harry and Meghan walked away. Were they not seeing the signs, or were we being told lies by the palace and the newspapers? Dan Wootton claims to have had the inside story from somebody from Meghan's camp. Remember Leaky Ship? Me, like many other YouTubers, we could see it coming. We were censored, canceled. I mean, the fact that the press and the palace tried to sell a story that we all knew was a lie, but still shoved it down our throats, it's incredible. We saw the signs. Meghan Markle only wanted the American press. She was talking to Oprah before her engagement happened because she wanted Oprah to do her engagement interview. And she was refused because it had to be the BBC who did that, which is why we later see Meghan Markle trashing the BBC, that BBC engagement interview, and calling it as another spectacle. Because Meghan Markle wants us to believe that she was subjected to many spectacles. Okay, because in her mind, she feels she has to sell to us that she's been done hard by the entire world. Not only the monarchy, but the entire world. The entire British press was against her. When actually the entire press was complicit with Meghan Markle's lies and the monarchy. They portrayed her as this almost A-list Hollywood star. That's how it read in the newspaper, guys. This Hollywood A-list star. She's amazing. She does this. She do, like she was a millionaire, a self-made millionaire, a double major. All of that has been debunked. So why were we told those lies? We could see that Meghan, the refusal to show the birth certificates of either child to be in the line of succession, that has been allowed to happen. There is no legitimate proof. There's no proof of the legitimacy of those two children belonging in the line of succession. The easel with the document outside Buckingham Palace with the signatures of the doctors was never shown. The Baptist certificate, which must be public, it's sealed because they don't want to disclose who the godparents are to protect their privacy. When they perfectly can give a copy of the baptism certificate and simply just, like blacked out the names of the godparents. They could very well do that. But they're not doing that, are they? We know now that Meghan Markle was bullying according to Valentine's Law and the palace conducting a serious investigation, and also because of the emails exchanged between Jason Kanoff and HR. And in answer to what Jason Kanoff said in that email, wondering whether the principals were also subject to the laws of the United Kingdom in regards to bullying, the answer is no, they're not subject to it, because Meghan Markle, if it were any other environment, any other institution, she would have been found guilty. That's actually a criminal offense in the United Kingdom. Yet, for a year, at least 18 months, this woman was allowed to bully, harass, attack, and destroy the morale, the reputations of high working professionals who actually knew what they were doing and could see her grift coming a mile away. So if we go by Harry and Meghan Markle's reasons that they placed, which till today, it's still on their website, Sussex Royal, you will see that they voluntarily left the royal family to pursue financial independence because Harry hated being paid by the monarchy, by his father. Because contrary to what people think, Harry's expenses were not only covered in their entirety. Harry didn't know what it was, I wonder if he still does, to pay a phone bill, because everything was covered up for him. And on top of that, he got a couple of mil a year for him to have fun with. From that, they did get paid a salary. So, but in their website, the reasons that they give is that they wanted to leave and find, create a new role within the monarchy, which they have. They have created a new role within the monarchy because they're still listed as working royals in the royal website. So in that regards, they have succeeded to create a new role as they claim in their website, in the Sussex website, and also in the royal website. Because, and I'm quoting directly from the royal website, the Duke of Sussex is the younger son of the King and Diana, Princess of Wales. He was given the title the Duke of Sussex by the late Queen Elizabeth II on the day he married Miss Meghan Markle in May 2018. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have 2 children, Prince Archie of Sussex and Princess Lilibet of Sussex. Their official residence is Frogmore Cottage. This was updated about 6 weeks ago. But, as announced in January 2020, the Duke and Duchess will spend the majority of time in North America following their decision to step back as senior members of the royal family. This paragraph is directly from the Sussex Royal. It was agreed that the Duke and Duchess will no longer be able to formally carry out official duties for the Queen or represent the Commonwealth, but they will, however, be allowed to maintain their patronages, including those that are classified as royal patronages. So, according to them, they're not in a full-time official capacity, but they are still in another progressive role within the monarchy, which actually they are. I mean, in her late Majesty's statements, she says that although she would have preferred for Harry and Meghan to remain full-time working royals, it was clearly not possible for that full-time working, basically. I am still shocked that they include the words full-time. They should have just said, well, they will no longer remain working royals or senior royals. And it is actually quite interesting if we get into this, because according to Harry and Meghan Markle, and this is again directly from their website, and why am I bringing this into question now? Because the story has changed so much and we have such short attention span. I don't mean by just me, by people. I see still people, for the new subscribers who come into my channel and what's going on, what they are going to do this, why Harry and Meghan claim. This is from their website, okay? It is right here, and I'm gonna tell you this. The royal family respect and understand the wish of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex to live a more independent life as a family by removing the supposed public interest justification for media intrusion into their lives. They remain a valued part of Her Majesty's family. So according to them, they left. Not because they were kicked out, because why am I bringing all of this? And this is why things are so confusing for many people who come into my channel for the first time. And they talk about Megxit and stuff like that, because now the narrative is that they were pushed out. We have Omid Scobie's book coming, that they were pushed out, that they wanted to remain half in, half out. And what is actually very, very sneaky, because if you look at this, Meghan Markle, this is all written by Meghan Markle. There's no way anybody wrote this but herself, okay? Because she says that they're going to be privately funded, not, and this is where Harry's complaint about the funding was cut off all of a sudden in March 2021. It's incredible because, I mean, it is on their website. You only have, not on Archewell, but in Sussex Royal, where they say that the funding mechanism is that they're going to be privately funded while they manage to secure a job in the United States, basically. And the private funding was from the Duchy of Cornwall, which is not really private, guys. I know many people think that the Duchy of Cornwall is actually private, but it's not. It really, if there was no monarchy, all the money being made in the duchy by the Duchy of Cornwall will go back into the people. Do we get that? It's not privately owned. It's like Buckingham Palace. So, but they were being funded by the Duchy of Cornwall, and that was. But of course, there were strings attached to that funding. One of those is that after this poor, Harry wanted to name, because from the very beginning, Harry wanted to name and blame anybody except Meghan Markle, because he doesn't understand that the person leaking everything about him, his family, and everything. And now he's become one of those leakers. Harry has become a leak too for the royal family. And not only leak about true stuff. I think he's become a blabbermouth about lies. He's become a spokesperson of lies about the royal family, along with Meghan Markle. So Harry, it was, at the beginning, he didn't understand that it was Meghan Markle leaking all the info. However, later on when he caught on, he was more than a willing participant because, again, of the emails and text communications between Jason Kanoff, Prince Harry, and Meghan Markle, which are public in a court of law because it was part of a trial in the United Kingdom that not very many people in the United States know about, and where Meghan committed perjury, because she falsely claimed that she hadn't collaborated with Omid Scobie and Carolyn Duran. Carolyn Duran works for Oprah Winfrey, by the way, in the book Finding Freedom. So why did Megxit happen, and how did it affect the monarchy? Well, Megxit happened because it was always the plan. It was always supposed to be the plan. The only issue that I think where Meghan Markle failed, and I've said this many, many times before, is that she never thought that Harry would follow her. This is why she didn't bring Archie. I don't understand why people didn't see it coming or pretend that they didn't know about this. She didn't go to Sandringham when the Queen invited her to go spend the summer with Archie, citing that Archie was too young to travel by plane, an hour ride from London in the Queen's private plane to Sandringham, right? But yet she got on a plane to go to Elton John, in Elton John's private plane to go to Ibiza, which is a much longer flight with a younger child, with the baby. For that, it was okay for her to travel. They didn't spend Christmas with the Queen. They didn't, nothing. Meghan Markle was mostly out of the country, and everybody knows this. She didn't bring any of her belongings from Canada. Not that she had many, because she's never owned a home nor a car nor anything. All she had was clothing, really, and her weaves, So, but she didn't bring them. Instead, when she wrote that skanky letter to her father, that she sent that nasty letter to her father, she was in Toronto with Jessica Mulroney. And how do we know this? Because of the text messages exchanged between her and Jason Kanoff, where Jason Kanoff says that Meghan, they're talking the conversation, and she says, I'm in Toronto right now. This woman spent so much time away, only did 72 days. And now, but according to them, according to their original statement, they left the royal family because of the media intrusion, because they wanted to lead private lives. They needed privacy from the media. And they wanted to earn independent living. They didn't want to depend on Charles, but at the same time, they were being privately funded by him still. It just went from being public funds to the Duchy of Cornwall. That is the original spiel we got directly from Harry and Meghan Markle. And they say this in their website. In their website, they say also the following. As shared in early January on this website, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex do not plan to start a foundation, but rather intend to develop a new way to effect change and complement the efforts made by so many excellent foundations globally. What is it that they have? Isn't it Archwell Foundation? All of these things come from their mouths. And I really want you to understand this. This wasn't that the press or anybody or the royal family. This is them, January 2020, after many months of reflection and internal discussions. We have chosen many months. We have chosen to make a transition this year in starting to carve out a progressive new role within this institution. So their role and the progressive role that they have carved out within the monarchy is basically the role that they have right now. We intend to step back as senior members of the royal family and work to become financially independent while continuing to fully support Her Majesty the Queen. It is with your encouragement, particularly over the last few years. What last few years? Meghan Markle, this is in 2020. What? She started dating Harry in 2016. They got engaged in 2017. They got married in 2018. And they left pretty much in 2019 when they went to Canada. They didn't come back. They only came back to the Commonwealth. So how many years is that? She was in the royal family for less than a year. Out of that, she was spent only 72 engagements. But this is them. These are their words, okay? It is with your encouragement, particularly over the last few years, that we feel prepared to make this adjustment. We now plan to balance our time between the United Kingdom and North America, continuing to honor our duty to the Queen, the Commonwealth, and our patronages. This geographic balance will enable us to raise our son with an appreciation for the royal tradition into which he was born, while also providing our family with the space to focus on the next chapter, including the launch of our new charitable entity, Archwell Foundation. Remember what I just read you, that they were not going to create a foundation? We look forward to sharing the full details of this exciting new step in due course as we continue to collaborate with Her Majesty the Queen, the Prince of Wales, the Duke of Cambridge, and all relevant parties. Until then, please accept our deepest thanks for your continued support. Their Royal Highnesses, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Now, this is the part that is very important. SussexRoyal.com was created as a source of factual information regarding the work streams of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Through this website, you will find key and factual information about their commitment to community, the monarchy, and the Commonwealth. So, why am I saying all of this? Again, the royal family knew all along that Meghan was a bully, that Meghan was a liar, that Meghan always intended to leave the monarchy and never to work there, that Meghan was trying to grift her way through everything, taking pictures, videos, forbidden pictures and videos of the royal family members in their private spaces. They knew she was a leak. They knew of her very questionable, never mind her past, her questionable character, her current character. They also knew about Harry. They knew that Harry is not a nice man. They knew that they had sold a package of a prince that was never real. We know that Harry, because of exactly the news of the world, because of hacking and everything, we know that actually the scandal at Eton, he couldn't hack the grades in order to take the test to enter into Sandhurst for him to start the military career. We know, at least it's in the public domain, that an aide helped him pass the Sandhurst exam because on his own he wouldn't have been able to do it. We know, and I've said it many times jokingly, that Harry has below Forrest Gump intelligence. And this is the man who is fifth in line to the throne, who is counselor of state to the current king, and the next regent in case anything happens to the king and Prince William, in case and the children and Prince William's children are still young. He is by law the next regent. That hasn't changed. That was ratified just this year. His children are in the line of succession. So now what do we have? What happened? Okay, what happened is they leave. They come back for the Commonwealth. Oh my God, they came back for the Commonwealth and Megxit blows up. To nobody's surprise. What shocks me and what surprises me is that people are still feigning surprise that Harry and Meghan Markle left. I am actually shocked and surprised they stayed for that long. Okay? I knew that Meghan Markle was going to claim racism, false racism, which is a crime in the United Kingdom. If you call or use the race card in order to get out of being accused of a crime or to distract from something you have done. That is a crime. I've already done many videos about this. And I've shown you the examples of the people who were convicted of falsely. One of the guys, he falsely accused a warden of giving him a ticket for parking in a handicapped parallel parking spot at a hospital. And he, in order to get out of paying that ticket, he accused the warden of racism, of being racist. And the judge found that it was illegal what he did because that caused a lot of emotional stress, because that is a horrible thing to be accused. How do you defend yourself from that? So it creates mental anguish, emotional and reputational damage. So the judge sentenced the guy to 12 months in jail. I think it was suspended, but he still had to do like 3 months community service and a huge fine. And this is just for getting out of a ticket. We're not even talking about the, I know there's a lot of people who make fun of Meghan Markle's children, whether she was pregnant or not, but given the questionable character of this woman, given all the shadiness around these pregnancies, given the fact that they haven't shown the real documentation to demonstrate the legitimacy of these children, it's not out of the realm of possibilities that she's a surrogate and the royal family just went along. So we have Meghan Markle and Harry claiming in one hand that the SussexRoyal.com is the factual source of information put on by them, where they said that they give their 3 reasons why they want to leave. And yet, we get funding freedom, and then we get the Oprah interview. Before we even, and then we get the Netflix. And then we get Meghan Markle wanting to commit suicide. I mean, it's endless. It's endless. In the Oprah interview, Meghan Markle goes there and says nobody has ever told her anything racist to her face, but that somebody made a comment to Harry about her before she was pregnant. And why do I say this? Because when Harry was finally allowed back in, because first we got 60 minutes of Meghan nonstop. The D-list celebrity, this woman who hit the hard pavements of couch casting, hard. We're not talking A-list mattresses here. We're talking D-list, couch casting mattresses here. She's now the A-lister in Oprah for 60 minutes, and then we get Harry in for 30 minutes. And what does Harry say? Because Oprah's, somebody, what? What? Yeah. And then there's all this little volleyball of, are they being racist? Well, if that's your assumption, are they or are they not? And then when Harry comes in, he basically debunks everything, but Oprah, being the skanky person that she is, doesn't question that further. Because it didn't suit the narrative she wants to portray, because Oprah hates white people because she's not white herself. She hates white people who made her a billionaire because she's not white. Because she had an affair with a white married man at the beginning of her career, who gave her the first break in her show, who went in a national platform. And guess, I've said this before, her show was How to Trap Any Man. She couldn't trap the man because the man actually walked out on her after they made love, and he saw her lying in bed, and he just couldn't do it. Yeah, he was a weasel. First of all, he was married, but second, because he couldn't handle being in a biracial relationship, interracial relationship. So that trauma has carried with Oprah through life. Never mind her lesbian things with Gail, but So Oprah didn't question that, but Harry said no. That was at the beginning of our relationship. It wasn't even about the child, it was about her. But nobody wants to focus on that because everybody wants to be in that sensationalist claims that, oh, nobody told me how to curtsy to the queen. It's been, now we had the gentleman from Pasadena who gave Meghan 2 courses on how to drink tea with the queen. Well, Meghan had just even started dating Harry. And the guy goes and says how well she did. So she kind of knew. We have Sarah Ferguson saying that she only met Meghan when she went to the wedding. She had met her before, yet Meghan says in the Oprah interview that it was Fergie who taught her how to curtsy. And in this instance, I believe the skank Meghan. I believe Meghan the skank, and I'll tell you why. Because Meghan was around Soho House long enough, and she was friends with Eugenie way before then. And Sarah, Eugenie, and Beatrice, and Prince Andrew all hung out at Soho House. They're besties with Ron Burke and the other, and Marcus Anderson as well. And that's how Meghan got into all this royal thing. So in that case, I do believe Meghan Markle. It was Fergie, but I don't believe that she was taught how to curtsy before then. She had curtsy, we've seen her curtsy, and she was in Canada. We know that she stalked Harry. I'm probably aiming for Andrew, but she was probably surprised she landed Harry. Because actually, Meghan Markle was after Prince Andrew. Her target was never Prince Harry. It just happened that way. So she lucked out. So we have all these lies. There's a royal racist in there. And how did that affect the monarchy? The entire world. Because let's not forget the Queen was the Queen not only of the United Kingdom, which is the United Kingdom is composed of, is incredibly diverse, multi-faith, multicolor nation, the United Kingdom. So the Queen, and not only of the United Kingdom, but the Commonwealth and the realms of different nations that are multicultural. So how did that affect that a senior member of the royal family, the Queen being biracial herself, of mixed race, just like Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle is mixed race and the Queen is mixed race because she's descended from Black and Asian. And Harry also has Hindu in his blood because of Princess Diana's side of the family. So the Queen being mixed race, being the head of the Commonwealth, 2.4 billion people of different ethnic backgrounds, faiths and everything, is being accused of being racist. This is like saying that Jimmy Savile, who was, we know about him, that PEDO, yeah? And he was the head of many charitable organizations for children. So we have this with the Queen. How Meghan was made to cry, how this happened, how she wanted to kill herself, but, she wrote to HR. How, Samantha Markle was not her sibling, or what she was, but yet she's befriending Ashley, her daughter, Samantha's daughter, which is absolutely stalkish beyond belief. And then what happened? The whole world, that increased the risk on the royal family. Everybody knew that 99.99% of what was being said in Oprah interview were lies. Everybody knew that. We all knew that. Yet nobody said anything. Nobody said anything about Harry and Meghan Markle. Oprah even fixed cut the headlines and cut them and paste them in different to make them look more incredible and lies, to the point that the British press had actually contacted CBS and told them, you have to take down those fake headlines you created, and Oprah refused. To this day, I don't know what happened, because they don't tell anything to us. So the monarchy took a huge hit. The security of the remaining royals in the United Kingdom was affected because of the hatred that Meghan and Oprah, along with Harry, directed towards the royal family member. And all of this while Prince Philip was dying. And now that we know, the Queen was also dying. So, and then, not content with this, we had Netflix. And then in Netflix, let me just tell you a few of the lies that happened during that Netflix. Okay? 4 major fibs in Meghan Markle and Harry's Netflix doc exposed as experts slam plot to destroy monarchy with lies. These are just from the pictures. This is even before we get into the content. Meghan and Harry faced a new fakery storm last night after Netflix passed off Katie Price footage as proof the couple were hounded by the media. I know the street where Meghan lived in Toronto. There's CCTV cameras. There was never anybody. The police checked because Meghan was calling Harry from Canada to the United Kingdom, telling him that she was being hounded like Princess Catherine was at the beginning, or Princess Diana, which was never the case, because the police in Toronto, they searched the CCTV cameras and there was nothing there. Okay? At least 4 images promoting the controversial docu-series. I'm not going to put docu in the word. The controversial series are not what they seem, while one other has been selectively edited. Okay? Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have again been called out for using paparazzi footage that wasn't following them. The images were actually of the paparazzi following Katie Price outside court in the United Kingdom. Katie Price, for my beautiful American viewers, is a UK celebrity, reality star celebrity. This is despite Meghan and Harry repeatedly claiming that they want to reveal the truth. Amid growing fury, the latest Netflix promo uses footage of journalists waiting outside court for Katie Price last year to illustrate the media frenzy around the couple. It gives the impression a lone snapper covertly photographed Harry, Meghan, and son Archie inside a private home when it was a pre-agreed coverage of a visit to Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Shows cameras around a limo before the trailer cuts to tearful Meghan, when the passenger was in fact Donald Trump's ex-lawyer. Comes after the first trailer showed a press pack at a Harry Potter film premiere years before the couple had even met. And then we have that Harry and Meghan. We have Harry that he's happy, have fled that horrible institution because Prince William and the King are prisoners. And yet, at the very end of the Oprah interview, when Oprah asked them, would you go back to working for the monarchy? They both said absolutely. Does that make any sense? And then the Netflix documentary, or the Netflix series the Slander Fest, where Meghan is mocking, cursing to the Queen, which is basically mocking. Can you imagine her mocking a Native American way of dress, or a tradition, or the way they greet, or anything like that? That's how outrageous it was. That's how outrageous it was. Her lying about her own family, her sister, about her culture, about her no struggles whatsoever that she's ever had, because she grew up. I know many people say that her background does not compare to that of Kate Middleton in regards to finances, and I will disagree, because Mr. Thomas Markle may not have been as rich as the Middletons, but Meghan Markle did enjoy privileged upbringing in the most exclusive schools in California, and then a university, which is, I think, Northwestern University is the 4th most expensive university in the United States. And she enjoyed a privileged life, trips. She never worked at the age of 13. So we have seen this woman continued, and Harry continued with these attacks on the royal family. We have Harry now claiming that he never wanted to leave the royal family, that they were pushed out, because that's what's coming out now. What is the real Megxit story? Who's telling the truth? Who's telling the truth? Is it Meghan Markle and Harry and their Sussex Royal website? is it the royal family on their website claiming that Harry and Meghan are still working for the royal family, spending the majority of the time in the United Kingdom. Because Harry is still featured there along with Meghan Markle. So they are half in, half out. Many of us YouTubers, people are speculating, oh, are they coming back or are they not coming back? If Harry leaves Meghan, he's going to be welcome and they're working. Because that is the plan. It has worked for the royal family before to rehabilitate somebody's image. We've seen it with Camilla. Nobody thought she'd be queen. Especially after after Prince Charles made a declaration in writing that she would be known as Princess Consort at the most. So in Finding Freedom, Omid Scobie talks about how Meghan Markle was seen walking the halls, carrying all these binders filled with information, preparing herself for a royal life. I hear a lot of YouTubers saying, oh, she didn't know what she was getting into. Yes, she did. If she was indeed a Northwestern University graduate of international studies, she would know. This is a woman who stalked her prey well. The problem that we have with people who are narcissistic and stupid and who don't plan for long-term actions or actions with long-term consequences for the positive and only think of instant gratification is that they always make mistakes. They always lead all decisions that make because they're made for the moment without looking at consequences are always chaotic and bad, poor choices. So Harry and Meghan say that after many months, this means that they have been talking about this for months and months and months and months. We know that she contacted Oprah and she wanted Oprah to conduct her interview. We know that she didn't allow many cameras inside the wedding where they got married because there's an American one and there was, I think, the BBC or Sky News. I don't know which one it was that got it. We've heard the lies about her being married 3 days prior, and Harry is sitting there saying just the two of us, when that is a crime. How has this impact, what is the impact, the real impact that Megxit has had on the royal family? The negative impact. To me, the worst impact that the Megxit has had on the royal family is that it has exposed the monarchy for being complicit with Harry and Meghan Markle, for being complicit to her bullying, for being complicit with her lies, for being complicit with their slander. Not only of the royal family members, but of people who work for them, organizations, newspaper reporters. Harry is still continuing to sue. He's still being allowed to sue in spite of the fact that it doesn't meet the legal standards that, it's already way, way, way past the deadline. In the UK, if you miss the deadline for by an hour, your lawsuit, you can't put in your lawsuit. That's pretty much standard everywhere. You have to submit something, but this is by years. They continue to lie. They continue to create emotional havoc, psychological, and detriment to the monarchy. All of this with the approval of the current royal family members or the head of the royal family, with a very weak parliament, UK parliament, who does not impose their will, their constitutional, because at the end of the day, the monarchy is a constitutional monarchy. And the UK parliament, through its people and its people, through the members, have a right to say enough is enough. Yet it seems that that's not the case. Who is financing Harry's security? Who gave him the $9 million to put for the down payment that appeared in Doria Ragling's account? Why aren't people more outraged at the fact that these two individuals to this date have swindled, committed fraud, all of this allegedly, of course, lied is not allegedly. Harry has written a book where he mocks people's appearances, bullies women, absolutely misogynistic pig about it. He has never been a real veteran. Being in a bunker and the fact that he was allowed to enlist in the military through fraud is not something to be proud of. This is a man who, by his own admission, was high on drugs the entire time he was in the military. Megxit, in anything, has exposed the failures, the current failures in the environment of the royal family who are the members of the current monarchy. Because monarchy is an institution, and the institution is only as good as the people who make that institution, who are part of that institution. So clearly something is rotten in the House of Windsor to allow this to continue, and it's weaker for Parliament. Megxit has shown and exposed Parliament, a lot of ministers, because a lot of people, Meghan Markle, all she had to do was make a phone call to the head of ITV or whatever, where Piers Morgan was working, and he was fired. Jeremy Clarkson almost followed the same fate. So Megxit, in many ways, is good for the United Kingdom and for the monarchy, because maybe now that we see how rotten everything is, how protected they are, how many lives they've destroyed and continue to destroy, what a security risk they are to everybody, all this money situation that nobody for some reason wants to look at. Meghan Markle interfering, I take that back. The Duchess of Sussex, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex interfering in another country's political arena, well, with the royal titles, because it's not Rachel Meghan Markle who wrote to Congress. It was the Duchess of Sussex from the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's offices, from the office of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. When will this stop? What do you think Megxit has accomplished? How do you think that the monarchy, the United Kingdom, what's the worst thing that has come out of Megxit with all the lies? And why do you think these two individuals are still being given a platform to continue to lie, bully, exploit causes of very vulnerable people? When will they be told no? When will their lies for real be called out? The only one standing up against them is Samantha Markle, a severely disabled lady due to MS, who has the ovaries of steel to stand up to the lies that Meghan Markle spewed against her. Because otherwise, nobody's doing anything about it. Nobody.